final figures. We've got the S&P ASX 200 up by 66 points. That's a gain of 1.4%. The All Ords up by 1.25%. So very resilient, to say the least, today. In economic news, job vacancies are on the rise, with the number of skilled vacancies advertised in newspapers rising 0.6 this month, according to the latest Employment Department figures. Vacancies for professionals rose 1%, associate professionals up 3%, trades also up slightly. Skilled vacancies rose in 3 states in the month of March, and that was led by a 7% increase in Queensland. The biggest fall was seen in New South Wales. Well, today's Employment Department figures are providing little comfort when it comes to Australia's ongoing labour crisis. The skills shortage is in fact worsening, with builders, engineers and tradespeople even in higher demand, especially in the wake of the string of natural disasters across Queensland and flooding in Victoria as well. Well, joining us now to discuss the crisis is Kym Quick. She's the CEO of the Clarius Group of recruitment companies. Kym, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
0.6% is the number we got from the Department of Employment today for skilled vacancies. That doesn't seem to indicate a lot of wiggle room. What's your take on the number?
Look, there's no surprises in that number from my point of view. We've been watching the skilled vacancies rise fairly consistently over the last at least 6 months. So no real surprises in that data for us across all those categories.
And are you seeing sort of similar trends across your recruitment companies as well? And
Yes.
What are these figures telling us about the state of the employment market?
Look, certainly it's interesting to look and monitor the skilled market stats even over the last 2 years during the global financial crisis, whereby we never really saw a significant oversupply of skills in some sectors, and those sectors include anything trades related, IT, engineering type of roles. So as the market improves and major projects come online and investment increases in industry, I expect that we'll see this tighten and tighten and tighten over the next 6 to 12 months.
And I guess you can't talk about tightening without mentioning, the gold mining region of southern Western Australia,
Absolutely.
The Pilbara, the Kimberley regions, all of which have recorded a 118% rise in skilled vacancies since May of last year. But that being said, it's not actually just the mining sector that's feeling the pinch right now, is it?
Not at all. No, the mining sector is probably the most significant example, and we're seeing some amazing numbers being achieved in that sector as far as demand. But as I mentioned earlier, IT is another area where there's significant demand and a lot of pressure for supply, particularly as new technologies emerge. The engineering space and the trades and construction-related areas are also seeing some significant increases, obviously exacerbated by the natural disasters, that some of which are still in, 2 years down the track, still in mop-up phase. So that's really going to increase pressure on demand, and obviously that will flow through to wages.
And we got information yesterday that population growth is actually slowing. We've got an aging population clearly in Australia, and a lot of controversy over the sort of migration problem. So if we're looking toward a solution now, what do you see as sort of one factor that could really sort of help turn this around? What will make a difference?
Look, I think we need to really encourage the government to be more realistic about the skills that are on the migration lists, and really prioritise some of those that are critical to the growth of our economy. Additionally, bringing skilled labour and bringing people in on visas is actually has been made more and more difficult. So I think some easing on the restraints that allow companies like ours to be able to bring in the skills that are in demand on 457 visas would help significantly.
What do you make of the government's efforts to keep people in the workforce longer, to keep older people working? Is this going to have any sort of a measurable improvement when it comes to skilled labour?
Look, I think so. I think, it's a really important aspect, and older workers who are looking at retiring are certainly very valuable in the workforce, and there's been a lot of talk about, as the population ages, the loss of IP that we lose out of certain sectors. So I think that's a really important initiative to continue to try and ensure that people do stay in the workforce longer, and potentially provide initiatives and stimulation for people who are forced to leave the workforce for family reasons, and providing better childcare support and flexibility around coming back to the workforce. All of those things will certainly help to ease the pressure.
And Kym, how difficult is the skills shortage making your job?
Look, it's always difficult to find really good talent, I think, regardless of the market, and we certainly saw that through the GFC. There are some good skills out there. I think as the confidence in the economy does start to improve, it eases it for us, because obviously one of the things that creates activity in our workforce is people moving from job to job. So I think we're starting to see people actually have a bit more confidence being wanting to leave their current employment to go to new employment. So we certainly didn't see a great deal of that during the GFC, which really did make it a very difficult scenario.
Swings and roundabouts. Kym Quick, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Kym is COO of the Clarius Group of recruitment companies. Market Day with James Daganixon is coming right up. Stay with us.